This is CBS 19 News This Morning.
Good Sunday morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kenley Hargett. Meteorologist Michael Behrens joins us now with a look at our forecast. How are we looking, Michael?
Well, it's looking like another stormy day out there, guys, and another day where severe weather could be on the table. But it's all quiet as we run outside this morning here in Tyler. 62 degrees, some clouds around the region. Really not much rainfall left right now as we take a look at some of the temperatures out there. Temperatures stayed fairly mild overnight. 62 degrees right now in Tyler, 61 Henderson, 63 in Longview. But as we take a look at the dew points, they're still rather on the moist side, and that's going to help be some of that storm fuel for storms developing later this afternoon and evening. Again, some of those could be on the strong to severe side. Our radar as of right now shows the heaviest area of rainfall moving just off toward the east of Hemp Hill, now exiting the East Texas region and into Louisiana. But as we go back off toward the north, a few more showers starting to pop up near Commerce to the northwest of Mount Pleasant. But that's about it for now. But as we take the bigger view, you can still see there's a disturbance over the western parts of Texas into the Panhandle. That's going to be heading our way as we head later on into the day. And as we mentioned, some of those storms could be on the strong to severe side. There is a slight risk for the northern counties this afternoon. We'll be breaking that down in more detail coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thank you, Michael. Now, if you want to keep an eye on these storms, even when you're away from your TV, you can download our CBS 19 mobile app. You can see hour-by-hour forecasts and any weather alerts. It's free and in your app store. Police in Tyler say one teen ended up in jail Friday night. That's after several people reported hearing gunshots on Shiloh Road. This all happened right after 10 p.m. Police say when they arrived, witnesses were able to describe the getaway car. When officers found the car, they also found a handgun. One minor is facing charges for unlawfully carrying a weapon. Police in Sulphur Springs are looking for this man, 52-year-old Tracy Kenyon Sexton. They say he could be armed and is considered dangerous. Investigators say yesterday Sexton robbed a mini mart in Sulphur Springs. Surveillance video shows Sexton going up to the cashier and showing her a gun before taking money from the cash register. If you have any information on where Sexton could be, you can call the Sulphur Springs Police Department. That number is at the bottom of our screen. Some of you may have noticed that Rice Road was closed today between Kinsey Drive and Old Bullard Road. According to the City of Tyler, that was because there was a road work being done. But don't worry, right now Rice Road is open all the way through. A spokesperson says the road work is finished. Crews are making progress as they remove vehicles and victims from Thursday's bridge collapse in Miami. At least 6 people were killed. Wendy Gillette reports from New York on what workers have accomplished.
Crews removed a Jeep Cherokee early Saturday that was crushed when a pedestrian bridge at Florida International University collapsed Thursday. One man inside, identified as Rolando Fraga Hernandez, did not survive. Crews also removed a Chevy truck with 2 more victims, Oswald Gonzalez and Alberto Arias.
We will continue to work until the last car and the last victim has been removed.
It's an emotionally wrenching time for family and friends as they wait for confirmation that their loved ones were killed. Those working to free the bodies paused for a moment of silence as the victims were removed.
They're being escorted to the medical examiner's office so that the victims can have some dignity as they are transferred from location to location.
The National Transportation Safety Board is heading up the investigation. A bridge engineer left a voicemail Tuesday for a State Department of Transportation worker who didn't get the message until Friday that said cracks had been discovered on the bridge. Crews were working to strengthen an area of the bridge when it collapsed. NTSB members will study videos that captured what happened as they try to determine the cause.
They are looking at all those, not only all the statements that are being given, but all those videos, which will be critical in the assessment of what the cause was.
The NTSB will remain in South Florida for as long as a week as they investigate. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Now, contractors were brought in to help firefighters chip through the rubble to get the victims. The university issued a statement earlier yesterday that says there was a 2-hour meeting Thursday morning to discuss the cracks on the bridge, and it was determined there was no safety issue. It's a story hard to believe, but the Idaho Humane Society is calling for an investigation into the allegations of a teacher feeding a live puppy to a snapping turtle inside a classroom. The superintendent of the district says it happened earlier this month. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says it is also investigating the teacher after receiving a complaint of animal cruelty.
It was not a biological specimen, it was a puppy, and it was fed to the snapping turtle alive. It was a sick puppy. That's beside the point. It was probably going to die. That's all beside the point. It's unhumane what they did to that puppy. And that is my outrage.
Students were supposedly offered extra credit for bringing in food for the animal. Police are also investigating to see if the snapping turtle was legally obtained. St. Patrick's Day is known for many things, one of those being the Irish tradition of drinking beer. CBS 19's Hannah Treese shows us how East Texas Brewing takes this day seriously.
We have green beer, lots of it. We got plenty of food, water, you name it, we can take care of you.
Everyone at East Texas Brewing Company is feeling the luck of the Irish, and we're not just talking about the green beer.
We just wanted something fun to do, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
East Texas Brewing also has a photo booth, shaved ice, and even face painting for the kids. One woman we ran into says these festivities are a blessing to her.
Having a great time. The music's good, the atmosphere is good, a lot of people's here, so we're really enjoying ourselves.
Jennifer Turner is still trying to rebuild her life after losing everything. She traveled all the way from Beaumont, Texas for the festivities.
I'm just lucky to be very fortunate for everything, been through a lot. We lost everything to Hurricane Harvey. We lost our house, everything, but we've been really blessed, so we're really lucky.
Owner Brian Gilstrap says he's also feeling extra luck on this St. Patrick's Day because his business is blooming. It's the grand opening of The Porch, a restaurant attached to the brewery.
We're actually celebrating our grand opening, so we just opened up The Porch. The Porch is where we have our restaurant. It's a great opportunity to come celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
So how much beer do people drink on St. Patrick's Day? Listen to this, 13 million pints of Guinness are consumed worldwide on March 17th. People will spend close to $6 billion. Lots of people would say one of the luckiest things you can find on St. Patrick's Day is a four-leaf clover. But the SPCA of East Texas thinks it's finding a four-legged best friend. From headbands to banners and bandanas, the SPCA of East Texas fully embraced the holiday. A spokesperson says this has been a very lucky week for Shelter. Many of their old-timers have finally found their forever homes.
I think the luckiest part about getting that forever best friend is the fact that you're going to get that unconditional love and you are helping a dog that really needs the help.
She says you don't have to wait till next year to get this lucky. You can find it every Saturday on their adoption days. Now to some Texas news in San Antonio. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating a case of animal sacrifice. Neighbors called police last night to report people who were allegedly sacrificing animals in their garage using a knife. Witnesses say they saw dead chickens, goats, and other animals.
It's pretty scary. I can't get to my house. I can't believe that this is happening. Before, I've seen like a rooster or something in the backyard. I've had some issues with their dogs, but I've never seen them sacrifice anything before that, but it looks like a table was out.
Police say there were more than a dozen people participating. They claimed it was for religious sacrifice. They were all arrested and charged for animal cruelty. Coming up next, Girl Scouts are learning business skills by doing something they've done for years. Find out what they're doing when we come back from break. New information this morning on the firing of ex-FBI Director Andrew McCabe. CBS News has learned the one-time FBI Deputy Director is cooperating with Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian meddling and possible obstruction of the justice of the Trump campaign. Danielle Nottingham has the latest.
Andrew McCabe isn't going away quietly after the career FBI employee was canned by Attorney General Jeff Sessions Friday. CBS News has learned that the former number 2 in charge of the FBI kept memos of his conversations with President Trump detailing what happened during the firing of former FBI Director James Comey. McCabe has turned those documents over to Special Counsel Robert Mueller, which could provide important corroboration of Comey's accounts for the obstruction of justice investigation. In a statement, the Attorney General said McCabe was terminated for authorizing disclosure of sensitive information to the media and that he, quote, lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. All FBI employees know that lacking candor under oath results in dismissal.
Sir, I can't comment on any conversations the director may have had with the president.
McCabe was a frequent target of President Trump for his roles in the Hillary Clinton email and Russia investigations. The president tweeted Andrew McCabe fired, a great day for the hardworking men and women of the FBI. Now the president's personal lawyer said Mueller should end his Russia investigation, which he claimed was manufactured by Comey. On CBS Saturday morning, Ben Goldberger of Time magazine weighed in on the political ramifications.
The firing itself, certainly the timing of the firing, McCabe's response to it, and also the president's response to it last night ensure that the scrutiny on the special counsel's investigation is only going to intensify.
McCabe was fired less than 2 days before his 50th birthday and scheduled retirement date, putting his full pension in jeopardy. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News.
Now, Russians began voting in their presidential election today, set to give Vladimir Putin a commanding victory. Opinion polls give Vladimir Putin 70% support, nearly 10 times the backing of his nearest challenger. If he wins, he will remain president for the next 6 years. Girl Scout cookies are an American tradition, but it's more than just selling cookies. It's about teaching girls business. CBS's Simi Kim has more.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
The annual cookie sale gives Girl Scouts a lesson in business.
Can I get a box of Samoas and a box of Indians, please?
Yeah, totally. It's $10.
For this troop, it's also given them a lesson in kindness.
At first, I was really surprised. I didn't know what to do.
Nora Wall and Ruthie Bridgman had set up outside of this grocery outlet store at MLK and Union in Seattle's Madrona neighborhood when a Good Samaritan approached their booth.
I remember this lady coming up and she was like, hey, if I buy all these cookies, will you hand them out to everyone that comes out of the store? And we were like, yeah.
The woman spent more than $600. Nora and Ruthie even had a hard time giving the cookies away.
Some people just didn't believe that somebody would actually do that.
Incredibly, that random act of kindness didn't end there. It made its way inside the grocery outlet where Cammie Nierhoff is a cashier.
We had a lady that was in my line. There was people in front and people in back, and she bought all of their groceries.
Nierhoff says people paid it forward all day.
All day it seemed like people were just doing little things. So I think it kind of inspired people to like give back to each other, whether it was $1 or somebody was short 6 cents, like all day long it was happening. It was just crazy. It was a really crazy day.
Girl Scout cookies, $5 box.
This troop is excited knowing their cookies could inspire such kindness.
I think it's really cool, and it made me so happy that I was able to be a part of this.
Coming up next, Michael has your complete forecast. Is severe weather on its way? Stay with us, East Texas.
A good morning to you, East Texas meteorologist Michael Behrens here, waking up with you on this Sunday morning as you're heading out the door, going to church this morning. It's going to be a pretty pleasant start, a bit of a calm start, even though it might be a bit sticky out the door. Temperature in Longview right now sitting at 62, feels like 62, but the humidity's up at 88%. Cloudy start, but you see a little bit of sunshine peeking through there this morning, and you'll notice the dew points. That's what's making it a little bit sticky outside this morning, in the 60s for most locations, and these dew points with that moist air, that's going to help be some storm fuel for some storms that develop later on this afternoon and evening. Some of those could be on that stronger to severe side. Elsewhere out the door this morning, temperatures around the region fairly mild. 62 in Tyler, 61 Henderson, 61 in Jacksonville, 61 up in Sulphur Springs as well, and a little bit warmer to our south, 64 in Lufkin this morning. The radar is mostly quiet. We had this nice little cluster of showers and storms moving through our southern counties. That's exited off into Louisiana, and the only thing developing right now is this real small area of rain north of I-30 for our northern counties. But other than that, things are very quiet this morning. But as you'll notice back out toward the west, that's where things are starting to develop here this morning out near Lubbock, San Angelo. This is the disturbance is going to slide off toward the east, and that could mean another chance for storms this afternoon and evening. Some of those, again, could be on that strong to severe side. So let's track it with your hour-by-hour planner. We're not expecting any widespread rains as we go throughout the rest of the day, but could see some scattered showers and storms early in the afternoon. The bigger threat, at least what we think for severe weather, is not going to come until about the 5:30, 6:30 time frame. It'll be starting to develop in these northern counties. See this cell up here? We're expecting storms to slide through the northern counties. The worry with these are some of those could be more supercellular in nature and very much on the strong side. So we'll be here keeping a very close eye on those storms that move out of here as we head into the early hours of Monday. Maybe another little line of showers and storms forms early on Monday morning, but that'll slide out of here as well, and things quiet down for the rest of your Monday. Now, as we did mention, the severe risk, especially for those northern counties. That's why you guys are under a slight risk for severe weather today. Pretty much the entire rest of the viewing area, at least under a marginal risk for severe weather. And we mentioned some of those could be supercellular in nature. The northern counties, that's where we find our highest tornado risk for today. The SPC has issued at least a 5% risk for tornadoes across the northern counties today. So when we break down our severe weather risk for this evening, we're expecting hail and wind to be the primary threats. Again, tornadoes not to be unexpected with these storms, and then especially the hail of some of those storms, especially if they develop into more of a supercellular type structure. We'll be keeping a very close eye on things. Your forecast for the rest of the day, 77 degrees. Again, some of those storms could be strong to severe this evening, heading into tonight as well. 59 degrees, severe storm risk, and then storms possible again as we get toward the morning hours of your Monday. Your 7-day forecast here shows temperatures that stay in the 70s for your Monday, but drop into the 60s on Tuesday as a second cold front comes through. Sunny skies throughout much of the work week before some rain shower chances return on the later side of Friday, and a few storms possible by next Saturday. But the temperatures for next weekend, they get right back up there into the 70s. Kenley, back to you.
Thanks, Michael. Now, time right now is 7:21. Ryan Moy is here. Now with a look at what's coming up in sports.
Morning, everybody. We're going to have some Region 14 hoops, and there's a new Cinderella team when we come back.
It's March. It's March Hoopla. The NCAA tournament highlights are presented locally by Pelche Chevrolet.
It was just a week ago when the Region 14 basketball tournament was held in Jacksonville. Trinity Valley Lady Cardinals were in control of their own destiny as a number 2 seed until they ran into the Kilgore Lady Rangers. The number 3 seed Lady Rangers were able to best the Lady Cardinals with a stunning 64-55 win. Now, given the Lady Cardinals' 27-5 record, no one really knew if we would see them again. That was until Monday. The Lady Cardinals received an at-large bid in the NJCAA National Tournament. Now, this isn't the first time this team has done this dance, but they'll be dancing this time around as a number 20 seed. And for returning players like Deja Daniel, the seed is nothing but a number.
It's another great opportunity, and this time I want to leave with a championship. I want a ring. With this 20 seed, with the cards that we're dealt, we're going to deal them out. This is basically another chance to take it all. We've had our ups and downs, but like as you just said, it's like the grit in each and every single one of us. We just need to just put all our pieces together, and I'm pretty sure we'll take the win.
The Trinity Valley men's basketball team were also in the same position. They were another top-seeded team that was eliminated in the Region 14 tournament against, guess who? The Kilgore Rangers. Lucky for them, their number was also called Monday, and they were able to receive an at-large bid as well. Lady Cardinals finished the regular season with a 27-4 overall record, and this will be their 7th appearance in the national tournament, the 4th in 5 years. And for sophomore guard Damari Paris, he and his teammates are ready to do whatever it takes to come back with a championship.
I'm just looking to lead this team, do anything I can do for this team to win. If that's getting 10 assists, getting 20 points, getting 10 rebounds, whatever it is, I'm doing anything it takes to win. We're an unselfish team, so it doesn't matter who night it is, if it's my night or Chuck night or Shabuti's night, we just want to win. At the end of the day, we just want to win. Coach come up with a plan before every game, so just follow it the best we can, go out here and practice the best we can, just come ready to play.
Now, I love basketball, especially when the madness of March takes over my life for about a month of time. And yes, I'm one of those people who love the upset so much that I make an upset bracket every year. One of my favorite upset moments is when George Mason made it all the way to the Final Four, something that no one thought would ever happen. Now, back to this year, my bracket is somewhat intact until the other night. The 16-seed UMBC Retrievers defeated a number 1 seed. And that was pretty amazing. They defeated the University of Virginia to advance to the second round. Why is this so great? Well, this is the first time in history that a 16 seed has beaten a number 1 seed, and only by 0.12% of people had them picked to win it all. Now, they are officially your new Cinderella team in the tournament, beating UVA 74-54, but for head coach Ryan Odom, this was definitely a team win for the Aegis.
Unbelievable. So proud of these kids. I take so much joy in watching them smile and not just at the end there, but throughout the game. I think it's pretty easy to tell everybody in the arena that these guys have passion. These guys love to play this game. This game means a lot to them. And, it was just a special, special effort.
Well, that's it for me. Back to you.
That's right, Ryan. Coming up next on CBS 19 Sunday morning, pinball, the multifaceted sport, makes its way back to Texas for the Texas Pinball Festival in Frisco. We'll show you how hundreds of machines and introduce you to the Incredible Hulk. We'll be right back. It's been a rough week for one family in the Dallas area. They lost 2 family members, but the bittersweet goodbye is an enduring love story, too. Kevin Reese has his heart-wrenching story.
A funeral is not where you go looking for a love story, but mixed with all the sorrow in this Fort Worth chapel, that's exactly what you could find. It's the story of Malcolm and Betty Clinch, 2 Fort Worth teenagers married in 1945, but by their first anniversary, he was in the Army and thousands of miles away.
Dearest Betty,
Their granddaughter found that first anniversary letter just last week.
honey, I'd give anything just to be with you for today. It just doesn't seem right for us to be so far apart.
And for every anniversary that followed, and there would be 71 more, they were never apart again.
You could tell that they were in love. I always thought they never do anything apart. That's something that struck me as different. They always did everything together.
She could talk to anybody and know their life story in a minute, you know, and he was the same way. But they just enjoyed being together.
I think even in death they did that together. So
Even in death. Because after 72 years of marriage, 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandkids, both Malcolm and Betty at 90 years old were in failing health. Betty with Alzheimer's, Malcolm a heart problem, and he knew their story was coming to a close.
And I don't think my grandmother was going to go anywhere without my grandfather. I think he knew my grandmother was going and he had to go first.
Malcolm did pass first. Betty, just 10 hours later. A granddaughter likes to believe he went first to be there, to show her the way.
He's a one-of-a-kind man.
So in Fort Worth on Monday, Malcolm and Betty were side by side in a chapel again, a love story that ended as it began, together.
And he always
And as for their love letters, Malcolm always ended them the same way. I'll always love only you.
All my love to the sweetest wife in the world, Malcolm. How much he loved Granny, how much Granny loved him, and they didn't really want to be apart.
And so together they go, and in their love story, together, they will always be. In Fort Worth, Kevin Reese, Channel 8 News.
Now, the annual pilgrimage of Pinball Wizard to Frisco, Texas is in full swing today.
My husband and I love pinball. We drove all the way from Missouri for this little tiny car.
Thousands of silver ball aficionados crowded into Frisco Convention Center to try their hands at more than 450 pinball machines, all on free play, with games dating back to the 1920s all the way up to the latest releases. Flipper aficionados, more achieving Nerve Anna, celebrity guest Lou Ferrigno of the Incredible Hulk fame, summed up the atmosphere this way.
I'm amazed about how many people come to the show, how many people have pinball game. As a matter of fact, this is mine. It's very fun because it's nothing to do with drug, sex, or violence.
If you missed the last 2 days of the Texas Pinball Festival, don't worry. You can still make it up in Frisco today to take a shot at posting the high score on your favorite game. Coming up next on CBS 19 Sunday Morning, we'll take a look at some St. Patrick's Day events across the nation. Stay with us. Good morning and welcome back to CBS 19 Sunday Morning. I'm Kenley Hargett. Let's send it over to meteorologist Michael Behrens with a quick look at your forecast.
Thanks, Kenley. This morning we're waking up to pretty calm conditions after what was a bit of a stormy end to your Saturday, but it's going to be stormy once again later on today, just not this morning as you're heading out the door, possibly going to church or work this morning. Current temperatures outside in the low 60s for most places, 62 Tyler, 63 Longview, 61 Henderson, a little warmer in Lufkin at 64. The winds this morning fairly calm out there in the pretty much 0 to 5 mile per hour range, so we'll call those calm winds out the door this morning. Your CBS 19 live radar shows the heavier cluster of storms exiting into Louisiana, a few showers developing in our northern counties, but we're still in that same pattern of disturbances. You can see that disturbance out over the western part of Texas, so some rain near Lubbock right now, and that's eventually going to slide its way our direction and provide us with another chance of severe weather this afternoon. As we did mention, part of our area under a slight risk. We're breaking down the threats coming up in your full forecast.
Thanks, Michael. Now, police in Tyler say one teen ended up in jail Friday night. That's after several people reported hearing gunshots on Shiloh Road. This all happened right after 10 p.m. Police say when they arrived, witnesses were able to describe the getaway car. When officers found the car, they also found a handgun. One minor is facing charges for unlawfully carrying a weapon. Now, the rain isn't stopping people in East Texas from celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Many headed downtown for festivities. The East Texas Brewing Company is celebrating the holiday with face painting, a photo booth, and shaved ice. Not to mention it's the grand opening of The Porch, the new restaurant attached to the brewery.
We're actually celebrating our grand opening, so we just opened up The Porch. The Porch is where we have our restaurant. You know, it's a great opportunity to come celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Now, Saturday, they had live music from 3 bands. The fun went until midnight. Again, just a reminder, even if you're celebrating today, if you plan on drinking, make sure you have a designated driver. But the largest St. Patrick's Day celebration in the country was hosted in New York City. Millions of people lined Fifth Avenue for the festivities. It's the oldest and largest St. Patty's Day parade in the world. In Dallas, more than 125,000 people showed up for the 39th annual Dallas Mavs St. Patrick's Day Parade. The parade featured more than 100 floats. The route is 2 miles long, and it's the largest St. Patty's Day celebration in Texas. Now, finding a forever friend might be the luckiest thing you can do this St. Patrick's Day. At least that's what the SPCA of East Texas says. CBS 19's Hannah Treese was there Saturday and shows us how the shelter celebrated the holiday.
At SPCA of East Texas, a 4-legged friend is even luckier than a 4-leaf clover.
I think the luckiest part about getting that forever best friend is the fact that you're going to get that unconditional love and you are helping a dog that really needs the help.
Kat Cordelou says all the green around the adoption center today has brought people in, and it's all benefiting the dogs.
We've had a good steady stream. I think the green lemonade and sugar cookies have helped a lot.
The dogs are all looking their best in their St. Patrick's Day gear, all in hopes of catching the attention of someone who will give them the family they long for.
Oh, I think it's really lucky for these dogs to be getting adopted. Most of them have been waiting for their homes for a long time, and we've had quite a few of our old-timers that have gone out this week, so that's been a great feeling.
If you're still looking for a forever friend, you don't have to wait until next year. The SPCA of East Texas does adoptions every Saturday. In Tyler, Hannah Treese, CBS 19.
And many of you could be out there tonight looking for a pot of gold. But in case you were wondering how much that pot of gold is worth, the answer is $1.3 million. When you think of St. Patrick's Day, many of you will think of the color green, maybe a pot of gold, but the first thing that usually comes to mind is the 4-leaf clover. But just how lucky are you to find one? David Schechter set out to verify.
So let's get down there and look. Is this a lay down on our
Yeah, sure.
Let's get down here.
And there are ants in here.
There are? Are they fire ants?
Yes.
Great.
Do you remember searching for a 4-leaf clover when you were a kid and never finding it?
But I see a lot of 3 clovers.
I see a lot of 3s. I guess our odds aren't good, right?
The odds are not in our favor.
That got us wondering, what's the truth about 4-leaf clovers? For context, we're looking at popular news articles, university research, and crawling around on the ground with Daniel Cunningham, horticulturist with Texas A&M University.
Are 4-leaf clovers a thing? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they 100% are a thing.
How do we know that? Well, people find them, and then websites write about it. And scientists at the University of Georgia actually isolated the gene that causes it to happen.
Every once in a while, there's a mutation, so whether that's a genetic mutation or if it's some kind of environmental factor, there could be 4, 5, even 6 leaflets on the plant somewhere.
So how rare is a four-leaf clover?
A statistical analysis can tell you how much.
Lots of online stories and videos, like this one from Scientific American magazine, cite a claim that it's 1 in 10,000. But there's no published research to back that up. Another widely reported number is 1 in 5,000. That comes from this website. But again, no published research on how they got that number. So how rare are they? We can't verify that fact. But we do know they are for real. It's just, we can't find them.
So have you ever with your own eyes seen a four-leaf clover then?
I know I had a friend in elementary school that had a few, so yes, I would have to.
You've seen them?
Yes, I have seen them.
Our technique honestly kind of sucked. Because
Yes.
you'd go over it, and then I'd come in behind you and check it again, and then you'd come over and check it again. Not efficient.
I think what we figured out is that really you have to go slowly and look at every single plant, because if you're missing one, then that could have been the one out of your 5,000.
Now, if you find a four-leaf clover, let us know. And if you want us to verify something, make sure you reach out to us on Facebook or write us an email to verify@cbs19.tv. You can also use the hashtag CBS19Verify. One man is still missing a little over 2 days after an explosion at a chemical plant in Hood County, right outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Crews spent the day yesterday looking for Dylan Mitchell, but suspended the search overnight. People who knew Mitchell say he was a loving brother, son, and father. 2 other workers were injured following the explosion. Because of the March for Our Lives march on the Capitol in Washington, D.C., the opening ceremony of the National Cherry Blossom Festival is pushed back from Saturday to Sunday, March 25th. Festival officials tell USA Today, based on crowd estimates, road closures, and recommendations provided by the city, officials, and agencies, this decision was made. The city of Tyler is also hosting a March for Our Lives rally that Saturday. It will be held downtown on the square starting at 11:30 that morning. Coming up next on CBS 19 News, Michael has your full forecast. Stay with us, East Texas.
Good morning, East Texas meteorologist Michael Behrens here with you, hoping you're starting the day off right out there. It's a much calmer morning than it was probably when you went to bed. We had lots of showers and storms work their way through East Texas last night, and for the most part, everything has exited off into Louisiana, save for a few pop-up showers this morning for our northern counties north of Mount Pleasant, but this isn't causing too much of a concern out there this morning. The bigger concern will be the fact that we are still in this unsettled pattern, and we are still expecting more showers and storms this afternoon, and you can see that back out toward the western part of Texas near Lubbock right now, heading up and toward the Panhandle. This area of disturbance is going to slide off toward the east, and that means another round of showers and storms. But how are we developing this morning? Well, here at the CBS 19 studios, things not too bad. 62 degrees outside. The winds are pretty calm, a bit sticky out there. The dew points are in the 60s this morning, and that'll help fuel some of those storms later on. Current temperatures outside for the rest of the region. Longview sitting at 63, 60 in Henderson, 61 in Carthage. A little warmer to the south. Groveton 66, Lufkin 64 out there this morning. As we mentioned, those dew points, they are in the 60s. So it is a pretty moist air mass out there, and that's going to provide that energy for those storms to develop later on today. So let's go ahead and start tracking that with your hour-by-hour planner. We start here this morning. Again, a few scattered showers and storms possible around the region. Don't expect any widespread rainfall for the first half of the day. But as we head into tonight, that's when we start to see a little bit more of what we call a concerning development. That's going to be these showers and storms for our northern counties. These could develop into a supercellular nature type of storm, and they're going to slide in through the northern counties after about the 5:30, 6 o'clock time frame. Again, some of these could be really nasty storms later this evening and before they slide out of here into parts of Louisiana. And then another round of showers and storms possible early on Monday morning before the system exits out of our region and we can calm the weather down for the rest of your Monday. Now, as we mentioned, those storms off toward the north, some of those could be on the strong to severe side. That's why we see that slight risk in place for many of our northern counties, places like Gilmer, Mineola, Sulphur Springs, Mount Pleasant. You're under that slight risk. The rest of the viewing area is under a marginal risk for severe weather. And also, the big concern we're going to be looking at is the tornado potential for the day. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has issued at least a 2% risk for tornadoes from the Tyler to Longview area over toward Marshall, but further toward the north places, again, like Gilmer, Mineola, Mount Pleasant, under a 5% risk for tornadoes today. So that will be the bigger concern. And with that in mind, we've broken down your severe weather threats for today. While wind and tornadoes are a possibility, we do think hail going to be the highest risk out of there. The rain's not too big of a threat because it's really going to be dependent on whether or not you get caught under one of those heavy thunderstorms. So for the rest of today, 77 degrees or high, severe storms possible in the evening as we head into tonight. Again, those severe storms around for the first part. Some more showers and storms early as we head into your Monday. Your 7-day forecast here shows temperatures that remain in the 70s for Monday, but as the sun returns for the midweek, get a little bit cooler. Our next rain chance doesn't arrive until next weekend, but those temperatures once again go back up into the upper 70s. Kenley?
Thanks, Michael. Now, coming up next on CBS 19 Sunday Morning, Dallas Emergency Management is conducting a special test this morning. Find out how it will affect hundreds of people. Stay with us, East Texas. This morning, the Dallas Office of Emergency Management will run an exercise simulating a building collapse at the Majestic Theater in downtown Dallas. The situation involves the Majestic Theater collapsing, severely injuring those on stage. 700 volunteers, 300 first responders, and several local hospitals will be tested on how they respond. Dallas Emergency Management regularly hosts these exercises to test the city's emergency preparedness. Some families spent their Saturday afternoon launching kites high up in the sky. Members of the nonprofit Varieties Peaceable Kingdom Retreat for Children hosted their 6th annual Kites for Kids event. Campgrounds were open to the public. Kids and their families enjoyed kite flying games, contests, and arts and crafts. They also got a demonstration from the Killeen Police Department K-9 unit and a Texas roller derby team. Organizers say the event gives the community a chance to know the nonprofit a little better.
We're kind of the best kept secret in Bell County sometimes. So this is a really great way for us to open up the retreat grounds and help share about what we do to empower kids with special needs in our area, and also thank those community members that support us throughout the year.
Now, the camp is always looking for volunteers and asks if anyone is interested to contact them.
Pet Perspectives is brought to you by Tyler Ford, Alexis Morton Brook Hollow, and Starnes Animal Clinics. It's Pet Perspectives.
It's time for this week's Pet Perspectives. Digital producer Gabby Garcia has more.
Hey there, I'm here with Dr. Shirey from Starnes Animal Clinic in Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about heartworms, which is a problem that is on the back of pet owners' minds, but we don't really know a lot about. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and actually, especially any southern state is going to have this as a serious problem, and it's all over the United States, but it is very bad. East Texas, especially Alabama, and it's something that I'm still surprised that a lot of pet owners don't know a lot about, because it is a disease that we see on an almost weekly basis, and it is a disease that can cause death. Heartworms are very much like the name implies, is that it is truly a worm that lives inside the heart. And I thought we'd do, because this is a pretty important subject, I thought maybe we'd break it up into some multiple segments. But today I thought maybe we'd mostly talk about how dogs acquire it. So heartworms are actually, they start out as a very small microscopic parasite that live in mosquitoes. So dogs become heartworm positive by getting bit by infected mosquitoes. And mosquitoes can pick up the heartworms, the babies, from taking a blood meal from an infected dog. So what happens basically is a mosquito takes a blood meal from a dog that has heartworms. Those adult worms live in the heart, the babies circulate through the bloodstream. The mosquito takes a blood meal, flies to your dog who doesn't have heartworms, bites the dog, injects them with the babies. 6 months later, we have adult heartworms growing in the heart. So it's a very difficult disease in that it can travel very quickly, and in East Texas, it is a problem that is year-round. You know, a lot of people think, well, we don't see a lot of mosquitoes in the wintertime, so we don't have to worry about it. But we see mosquitoes in the wintertime. I mean, they happen, especially they're looking for warm places, they go to the home. So it is a disease that needs to be prevented year-round, especially in this type of, in this area. It's also a difficult disease because they can have heartworms for years and you don't know it. And we don't know that they have it a lot of times unless you test until they are already showing signs of heart failure. Oh, no. So it is certainly something that is a big deal and one that is so easily prevented. We just need to know more about it.
Are there certain types of dogs that are more susceptible than others?
It doesn't matter. Young, old, from a Great Dane to a Chihuahua,
Long
any dog
hair,
can
short
get it.
hair?
Nothing. There's no dog that is more resistant than any other. If it's bitten by an infected mosquito and not on prevention, they're going to get heartworms. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr.
Absolutely.
Shirey from Starnes Animal Clinic in Tyler. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see you guys next time.
Well, the 6th and final victim was pulled from a rubble of a collapsed Miami bridge Saturday. This brings an end of the around-the-clock effort to recover those who remained trapped for more than 2 days. A total of 8 cars were partially trapped when the 950-ton pedestrian bridge buckled at Florida International University on Thursday. And at least 4 were completely pancaked under the massive slabs of concrete, which made recovering victims difficult. About a year ago, President Trump pledged to eliminate the national debt over a period of 8 years. But for the first time in history, the national debt surpassed $21 trillion this week. The landmark comes shortly after Congress passed and the president signed a suspension on the federal debt limit last month, allowing the government to borrow an unlimited amount of money until March 1st, 2019. Well, the time right now is 7:56 on this Sunday morning. Taking a live look outside, Michael has a final look at your forecast after the break.
Exploring ESP. Plus, are these the smartest animals? Mind Matters. Sunday morning.
All right, now Michael's here with a look at our final forecast. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, we're expecting some storms to develop in our northern counties this afternoon. Some of those could be on the strong to severe side as they roll through. With that in mind, severe weather threats do include primaries of hail and wind, but some tornadic activity cannot be ruled out this afternoon and evening. And then your 7-day forecast, things start to quiet down as we head into the work week.
All right, now Michael, UMBC, they beat the #1 seed Virginia.
Absolute upset.
So you know what that means?
Let me guess. Free food?
Free pizza. Little Caesars is giving out free pizza to everyone because of the major upset. They're giving away a free lunch combo on April 2nd from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30. Whenever a 16th seed has never defeated a #1 seed in NCAA history. So it's something definitely don't forget to do. Again, that's going to be April 2nd from 11:30 to 1:30.
I got it in my phone calendar already.
You got it in your phone already?
Yep.
I just want a pepperoni pizza. That's what
Absolutely.
I really want. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. CBS 19 News on Sunday. Stay with us later at 10.